Hi, everyone. Sean Walbin with Secure Cyber Defense, and this is your weekly cybersecurity update. So as you can definitely tell, we're in a new studio. So just in the last couple of weeks, we finished construction on our new broadcast studio, and there's a lot of content coming. So stay tuned to our YouTube channel and to our blog and other social media outlets. We'll kind of get those here on the screen as we go along to give you the opportunity to get updates on when we go active with new content. But welcome to the new studio. So let's jump right into it. All right, so from a vulnerabilities perspective, Apple has come out with multiple security updates to their product set. All of this information, by the way, will be in the notes section of YouTube, and we'll also provide a show notes section of our blog on the Secure Cyber Defense website. So a number of these Apple updates have been exploited in the wild. So if you're an Apple user, taking advantage of applying those updates now would be in your best interest. I'd also want to point out that a lot of the updates don't go right away to Apple products. So what you need to do is just make sure that you head out to the settings area of any Apple product and just make sure that you're grabbing the updates and applying them. Now, the new updates that came out are for 17.4, and we also noticed that there were a lot of non-security updates that happened. Again, all this information from a non-security perspective, I'm going to highlight some of the areas will be in the show notes and on the blog, but just to highlight a couple things, the podcast app was updated to include real-time transcripts, as well as the iMessage security protocol has been updated to provide an additional layer of what they're calling post-quantum encryption enhancements. That is definitely something that we would like to go into a little bit more detail. So stay tuned for that. Stolen device protection is now available to the public, which enacts a security delay of 1 hour when a user attempts to make critical changes to the device. So there's a lot of information that'll be available for that online as well. And then Apple Wallet has also made some changes where Apple Cash can now give you a virtual card number. And we've actually got a resource available for all these additional knowledge articles on Apple. And we're also hoping to have some webinars here in the future where we can dive into a little bit more detail on some of these topics and provide you more information from a cyber education perspective. So just head on out to the show notes in YouTube, and we'll provide you all the information on the Apple updates. But just make sure you're hitting the settings button and grabbing those for sure. VMware has also came out with a number of vulnerabilities. It's important to note that regardless of whether your VMware infrastructure is exposed to the public internet or not, that you should be keeping up with updates, not only for VMware, but VMware tools, and really any area inside your infrastructure. That includes your storage area network. If you're a home user and you're watching this YouTube channel, making sure that you're keeping your routers and your wireless devices and everything inside your home up to date is critical. And we'll have a lot more information on that in future episodes as well. Cisco has come out with a number of vulnerability updates. If you're using the Screenconnect VPN client, make sure that you're hopping out there and grabbing that. Also, just making sure that you're running multi-factor authentication on your VPN. Screenconnect flaws have been exploited in the wild by North Korea. Unfortunately, that is something that we'll talk about more and more on this channel as far as nation states and nation states attacking us. So if you're currently using the Screenconnect service, make sure you hop out there and grab that update as well, as those vulnerabilities were being exploited in the wild. So now I'm going to take a look at the news. There's been a lot of information going around about TikTok. If you've watched the Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party, the Select Committee on CCP, I highly recommend, we'll put it in the notes, I highly recommend that you view that YouTube channel. There's also a website on the Select Committee for CCP, which goes into a lot of detail on the threats from China and how that impacts us here in the United States. So this TikTok divesting bill is up for vote, and what that basically means is the U.S. is requesting a disconnect from Beijing-owned ByteDance, which is the parent company that owns TikTok. So there's a lot of information going on about that. We'll provide the link in the notes, but just be aware that that's going on with TikTok. Phobos ransomware targets U.S. critical infrastructure. We've got some information and some links on the website about that. The U.S. critical infrastructure is under attack. So there's been a lot of talk about Volt Typhoon, which is a threat actor out of China. Phobos is more of a Russian group, and they're getting inside our water, wastewater, power, all of our critical infrastructure, and the reason they want to do that is if there's ever a situation where the United States gets involved in Chinese activity, for example, if China invades Taiwan and the U.S. gets involved, they want to have the ability to cause disruption to the U.S. critical infrastructure. So there's a lot of emphasis on that. I believe getting the education out to the public to understand how they can better protect themselves from that perspective will be something that we'll be tackling here on our YouTube channel as well. American Express has been victim of a card breach. In this particular case, it's not American Express direct, but it's a third party involved with American Express. If you're a U.S. business and you have third parties that you have business relationships with, I believe that you should probably take advantage of looking at those contracts and looking to see what exposures you might have with a third party. So if you have an American Express card, it's best for you to freeze your credit and monitor the transactions because those credit card numbers could have been compromised. And I just want to go over a couple things from an events perspective. So if you're in the Dayton, Ohio area, the Ohio Technology First will be having the Ohio Information Security Conference. That's coming up next Wednesday, March 13th at Sinclair Community College. It's in Building 12. I highly recommend that you attend that. I believe it's still open so far for registration, but I think it's closing really soon. So that's a great opportunity to network, see vendors. Secure Cyber Defense will be there. We're a Diamond sponsor this year. And there's really some great keynotes that are happening. And matter of fact, I'm doing the ending keynote on threats from nation states. And then the last thing I want to mention is the Go Cyber Collective. The Go Cyber Collective is a separate nonprofit that was spun off of Secure Cyber Defense. The whole idea there is to offer a location the third Wednesday of every month here at the Tyler Technologies building, which is where our headquarters is. The third Wednesday of every month at 8 o'clock. We meet. You can head out to the gocybercollective.org website to register and see when the speakers, what speakers we have lined up. So once a month, we bring a speaker in to talk about a cybersecurity technology that you may not be aware of, and we provide a breakfast as well, and then great networking opportunities. And there's even some breakout special interest groups that are available as well. Well, that's all we have for today. We'll be live, or not live again, but we'll be back on the air next Friday with a video update like we're doing today. So I appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll catch you next week.